It'll say you are.
Yes.
Okay. And then in the top left-hand corner, you'll see the red live button. So you know that you are going. And that will be your cue to begin your presentation. You'll continue through with your presentation for about 30 minutes or however long your session is. I believe that 30 minutes is slated for your presentation plus Q&A.
Okay.
We also have an additional 15-minute buffer just in case the flow is there and you want to continue. Do you know how long your presentation is supposed to be? Oh, well, you have a few.
Well, I knew 30 minutes, so probably 20, with everything, hopefully. I wasn't sure if the Q&A would be that last 5 minutes or not. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Perfect. So, yeah, I probably want to play around with this Chromebook because most of these apps are web-based, but there's one that's an app. So we might just want to make sure I know how to share the screen.
Okay. Do you want to test that now?
Yeah. Is that okay? Or is there something? Yeah. And I'm going to have my setup better. Like I have this other computer in the way right now. So I'll have my other screen side by side, but
perfect.
I'm just shoving things around this afternoon.
I get it.
All right. So I'm flipping through. I'm going to talk about creativity with Chromebooks today. I'm Donna, and blah, blah, right? I'm just going to excited to share with you the Chromebook App Hub and the way that you can access a lot of creativity apps for your students. And then we're going to launch into the Chromebook App Hub, and I'll talk about the benefits of the Chromebook App Hub. It's really great. It's an easy install for your students. It's a Google sign-in, and you can manage your users and licenses. So it's great if you're at the district level or the school tech level. You're able to go through and manage all of your users in one place. And so it makes it very easy for you to purchase and install these apps. You also can really ramp up your lessons and engage your students with this content. Some of these creativity apps are designed for differentiating instruction, personalizing learning, and I'll take you through some examples. And then we'll look at how you can use these apps for student projects to really support that creative expression and project creation. And we'll go to the Chromebook App Hub just to give you a sense of what that's like. When you are at the Chromebook App Hub, you'll be able to search for apps for every subject and grade level. I love to point out it's just a nice scrollable screen, and you can click through and see some of the top apps. And I'll be exploring some of these with you today. The other thing that I'll mention is that if you want ideas for how to use these apps in the classroom to engage your students with creativity, then you can go to the Ideas tab, and here you'll be able to go into the categories and filter. So if I wanted to search for creativity apps, I can go in and I can get some really great lesson ideas. So you don't have to start from scratch here. We've got some resources to support you, and you can open up those apps. So that's just one thing I wanted to point out while we're here in the Chromebook App Hub. And if you're interested in purchasing any of the apps, then when you go to look at that app, you'll be able to click on the title, explore the app. And from there, you'll be able to find out all the information you need about purchasing those app licenses. And if you've got a lot of teachers who are interested in certifications with Google for Education, you can also explore some of those certifications. So it's really a one-stop place to find some excellent apps that you can use with your students. And with that, I'm going to take us into some of those apps. We are going to take a look at some creativity apps that can get you started with creation in the classroom. We'll start out with just some apps to kickstart your learning, some things that are easy for you to implement and that your students will enjoy using as you're teaching your lessons. And then we're going to level up and look at some apps that your students can use for project creation. And you can also use those apps yourself for project creation. So we'll jump right into a couple of the apps that I think are great for kickstarting your classroom. And the first one is Squid. And Squid is, this is the one I have to practice with, because Squid is an actual app. Let's see if it shows up for you. It did. So is that looking okay then? Yeah, so this will work out okay.
Yeah. I think the flow is working pretty good right now.
Yeah, so I'll talk a little bit about Squid, how easy it is to set this up so that your students can be creative in their note taking and gathering all the information that's important for their learning. And so it's very easy for students to go in and click on their options here. They can take notes. They have lots of different templates they can use. And it's pretty easy for them to get started. I know some students like to have a nice Cornell notes format. And what's great about this is they can use their stylus if they've got a tablet or a Chrome device that uses a stylus. They can use that on the note taking app. They can also go in and choose images and upload images. So it's a great place for students to get started with creativity. And then I'm going to pop on back and share a couple of other resources with you. Maybe. How about I just close Squid and we'll be done with it. And thanks. That was the one I had to practice. And then the other apps that we're going to take a look at, one is Explain Everything. This is also one of my favorite apps. It's a digital whiteboard, and it allows you to connect and share your screen with your students. And you can screencast, you can record a lesson, or you can have all the students live in your Explain Everything whiteboard. So with your login, you'll be able to just start whiteboarding. And I know that there are some other digital whiteboards that are great that you're probably using, like Jamboard. The benefit to this is that it's really easy to just share this out with your students and to also record that so that your students can go back and learn about it later. And I've seen this used very creatively in math classrooms where students are learning how to work out a math problem, right? And the teacher can demonstrate that. The teacher can share that whiteboard with the students and then also record some audio about how they're approaching it. There are some nice templates to get you started. So you'll start with a canvas, but if you're like me, you like templates, hopefully, you can get started really quickly. So if you wanted to teach a lesson, maybe get started with a question of the day, you could go right in with that template and you can, oops, see, I've got to get my plan upgraded. So we'll just go into what I already have. I haven't planned all this out yet, but I'll just have a template that we can go right into that will be set up. And so I've got a couple of things in my account already. So let's just take a look at perhaps conducting a SWOT analysis with your students. You can see how easy it is to go in and then just edit that whiteboard that you have set up. And this is a 30-minute presentation, so probably that's about it, right? Just if 5 apps, 4 or 5 minutes each.
Yeah, I think that would be ideal. And then you could also probably save yourself time by, of course, like right now, I think we're just like running through it.
Yeah.
But having these tabs already open and ready to get into.
Yes, and I did have that one open and I closed it. So I'll just kind of queue up the different projects that I'll share and just maybe do a couple of tips and demos. So those are some great tools to get your students started. I mean, I know you always have to have your students working in the classroom, and they can use Squid to create those notes. They can use that whiteboard, and you can share out lessons that way, even remotely. So it's a great tool to get started with creativity. Student projects is that next level. I know from experience that it can be frustrating in the classroom when your students are using lots of different creativity apps and you don't feel like you're very in control of those. So I'm going to share some apps with you that always work, that are very streamlined. They work great on the Chromebooks, and they give your students an opportunity to just easily share with Google Drive. So we'll take a look at a couple of those. First of all, we'll take a look at Book Creator. Once again, you can get started with a template or you can start from scratch. But your students have the option to create a new book, and it can be about any topic. So they can gather together a lot of different resources. In this particular example, I've got a digital portfolio. So you might want your students to share their creativity, share their progress with learning, and use this digital portfolio for that. And I think this is my slow going with these apps. So I'll just make up things to say or have that open already in a tab. How does that sound? Because that's just not, yeah, there we go. So once again, you can go in and edit the content. All of these templates are available for your students to update, edit, and it's a really nice app for students to share out their learning and their creativity. And they can also share their book with the class library. You can set up a library so that all of those books that are created by students are together. And then let's take a look at WeVideo. There are a couple different apps for multimedia, and one that I have used for many years and really love is WeVideo. With WeVideo, you can create a new project, or just like with the other apps, you can start from a template if you want your students to get started with maybe a format like a 1-minute video. There are a lot of different templates that they can use for that. So in here, I'm just going to go in, and you can see that I've got a number of different templates, or I can go into some of my projects that I've already created. And it's just a very easy drag and drop environment. You can bring in videos, photos, all sorts of audio clips, and slow again. So this is the part I'll hardwire to when I'm not hardwired today on the Chromebook. So it's very easy to go into the editor. There's a simple view as well as a more advanced editing view. And you can drag and drop your clips right onto the timeline. So it's really easy for you to get started with that. So I'll go through and demo probably one project that I'll have open for WeVideo. The other thing that's nice about it is when you do click on finish, you can export this video, and you can export it to Drive, to YouTube, or download it to the computer. So it's very easy to get that started. From the domain level, you're able to see all of your users and the content that they've created. And then finally, we'll look at Soundtrap. Soundtrap is another app that is great for multimedia. Your students can be creators. So if you've got students who love to create music, there are some wonderful tools here. Or if you have students who want to create a podcast. Podcasts are really a wonderful way for your students to collaborate as a team and to create their own podcast. And you can also create assignments here that you can share directly with students. So you can give them an assignment, and then they can start a collaboration. A number of different projects that are available when you enter into the Soundtrap Studio. It's a click away to get into the studio. And from there, we do this thing again. So I'll have all this queued up. Yeah, I apparently killed my speed right now. So, but with Soundtrap, what you'll be able to see here is that I can add a new track. I can even create my own music. There's a synthesizer. You can go in and add different beats, and you can also import files. So very easy to get started here, adding that track. We might want to just go right in, add some drums and beats. And your students can create that music right here. So I really highly recommend it. They can add things to their soundtrack, and then they can also record audio. So you've got an audio recording feature down at the bottom. We can just click on record, and we can record our audio and put in those beats, add a little bit of audio, and we're ready to go. And all right, so I'm going to work on that. I'll have a project set up. And so those are several apps that I wanted to showcase that are available in the Chromebook App Hub. There are even more of those, so I do have some additional resources, and then we'll hang on for a Q&A. Yep. Another resource is Canva. So if you're looking for a program that allows your students to create newsletters and lots of different formatted posters, then Canva might be a tool that you want to try out. And then another one is Infinite Painter. That works great on your Chromebook. Your students, again, can use a stylus, and they can just be artists. They can create lots of different canvases that they can import into some of their projects. So there are a number of different resources there. And then the Chromebook App Hub, as we mentioned, has a lot of tools to support you in getting started with these apps. And others, I don't know if we'll need this slide, but just some other, I guess I should put my, I don't know, should I just say other, we have some other links here for you. I might talk about Google Applied Digital Skills, and they've got a new Jamboard lesson, so they've got some new lessons there. And Q&A. And I sweated.
And then at this point, we'd likely just drop that, and you'd just be up on stage to answer any Q&As that come in. That was great. I think that was great. I think your flow was great. Definitely, like the speed issue. The speed was an issue, which you already know.
Yes.
So that's totally fine. I think the biggest thing is that you're aware. You already know what it is that you need to do.
Yes.
Your audio is clear. I think your sound is clear as well. Maybe the day of the event. At that point, would this be where you would be presenting from?
Well, I'm probably going to rearrange some because I know I've got a window back here. I'll probably just swirl some things around so I have the bookcase behind me. So,
okay.
Yeah. And so I guess I have to use the Chromebook. It's just smaller screens. So
yeah. I
have a very nice Chromebook. It's just, I'm used to the bigger screen. So what I'll do is, I have my second monitor. So I think I'll just put them side by side and put the Chromebook up a little higher on something. So I don't have that awkward looking up thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other tips for ready? I've also got a green screen, so I might play around. Well, I don't think green screen works in StreamYard though.
I mean, in any case, I don't think that that it would be necessary.
Okay.
The green screen. I think your background does look great. You're right about the window. So if those shades were to be closed, or it's no longer an issue, then I think we can move on from there. Any other tips? I think you honestly have it down pat. From all the speakers that I've worked with this week, I feel like you are the most like tip top. I feel like you're tip top shape. So no, I don't think there's anything else. It's just to be on the lookout for any additional speaking notes that are going to be coming in. Having all of your any tabs or any links, maybe having them already pre-populated in the window. I know I said it's best practice to share your tab, but in your case, it might be best to share your window, not necessarily your entire screen, but sharing your window specifically. Only because sharing your window, it opens up the door for notifications to be coming in. and interrupting. So sharing your window would be the best. And I think that's really it. I think you'll be all set.
All right. Well, I mean, I think I know. Yeah, I know what I need to do with my my technology, and I'll have all the tabs, and I'm sure I'll hardwire so I can not have that awkward loading. And I guess, I mean, from your perspective, is that kind of what I should be saying? Like, this app should be used for this, and here are some examples.
Yeah, I believe so. We do have. Yes, I think that you showcasing what it is that's possible is the best way to go.
All right. Yeah, it's kind of hard and awkward to just, I mean, it's just not enough time to really show how to use the product that much. So I guess I was just hoping to highlight the features and share an example. And
yeah.
All right. I'm wondering, and for this one coming up, I don't have an additional guest, but if I have some at the end of March, if I have another person joining, will that be the same process?
The same process regarding what?
Do we go through Meet first and then hop onto StreamYard, or?
Yes. The only reason why is just because not everyone has used StreamYard before. Most people are familiar with Google Meet, so we all meet there. It's a safe space. Then we transition over here into StreamYard. If there are any issues, such as the issues that you're facing trying to join StreamYard, then we have Google Meet as a place to troubleshoot any of those issues before closing that out.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
No, I think I know what I need to work on. So I appreciate you letting me run through everything.
No problem at all. And if any other questions or concerns arise, feel free to reach out.
All right. Great. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Take care.